When I was in high school, I lived in Dallas, Texas, with a bunch of gay men. I lived with my dad and his boyfriend, Dale, and their friend, Chris, who I referred to as Sister Chris because I had a lot of Chris's in my life at that time. I had a brother named Chris, I had a best friend named Chris, and I dated a guy named Chris. The very first time my boyfriend, Chris, and I ever went on a date, he came to the house to pick me up. He drove, which was very impressive in high school, and he was on time. He was dressed really well. He did his hair, he wore cologne, he smelled really good. Sister Chris even said to me, "Girl, he looks good." And I was like, yeah. And Chris bought me this huge bouquet of flowers. And when my dad saw those flowers, he was like, "Oh my God, those are gorgeous. Those are such beautiful flowers." And boyfriend Chris said, "Thank you, sir. I picked them out myself and put them together. I thoroughly enjoy picking out flowers and putting them together myself into bouquets." I looked at Sister Chris's face. It said exactly what I was thinking. Gay. And I did not want to think that because whenever I went to the mall with my dad and Sister Chris, they were always pointing at people and saying, "Gay, gay, he's gay, he's gay, he's gay." And I thought that was wrong because not everyone is gay. And just because someone puts flowers together doesn't make them gay. But I also didn't want to wind up like my mother because my parents were married for 17 years, and when I was 11, they got a divorce because my dad couldn't pretend to be straight anymore. And in those situations, people are always like, "How could you not tell? Like, how did you not know?" So I don't want to be judgmental, but I didn't want to be a fool. But I continued to date Chris. It was easy to do so because he was good looking and he was really good to me. But every time he came over with those damn flowers, I would say, "These are great, thank you." And then whenever he left, I would throw them in the trash. And my dad would get so mad. He'd be like, "Elizabeth, don't you throw those flowers away. I was enjoying them." And then Chris would come over and be like, "Where are the flowers I bought you?" And I'd say, oh, my dad would chime in for me, and she'd throw them away. And I would say, "Well, they were dying." And Chris would be like, "They couldn't be dying. I just bought them for you. Did you water them?" And my dad would chime in, "I watered them. They were fine." I would get so mad. I'd be like, "No, they were dying. I'm sorry, but sometimes flowers die." And I finally told him, I was like, "Look, it's really sweet that you buy me these flowers, but you don't have to buy me flowers all the time." And he was like, "But I love buying you flowers." I can't do his accent. It was like somewhere between a masculine King of the Hill character and like very effeminate at the same time. I can't do it. One time we were actually driving and we got into a really big fight. And he was like, "I'm just going to pull over." And I was like, "No, don't pull over. Why are you going to pull over?" "I want to buy you some flowers." And I was like, "No, don't you pull over. Don't you pull over. Do not pull over and buy me flowers." He's like, "I got to get some water anyways." And I sat in the car while he got me some flowers. I really wanted to break up with him, but I didn't have a real reason. Like, you buy me flowers and you're nice to me? I don't know. And one day, he finally sat me down and he said, "I have to tell you something. I went out to a party last night with another girl." And I was like, didn't really care because at first I didn't really make much of it. But then I realized, why would he tell me this? And then I was like, did you cheat on me with a girl? And he started crying. I rolled my eyes. And he said yes. And I really felt bad because it hurt my feelings, but I was surprised and just really sad that I misjudged him. Thank you.
Elizabeth.